joining from the Schools and Colleges Outreach Team at London Metropolitan University. Welcome to the In Conversation series, and today I'm in conversation with Daniel Sykes. So, Daniel, could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you teach?
Hi, my name's Dr. Daniel Sykes. I'm an inorganic chemist by trade. Probably came into it from being a failed organic chemist, if I'm perfectly honest, but the move across was fairly seamless, so it was fine. So I run the chemistry degree here at London Metropolitan University, and also the chemistry with a foundation year degree as well. So it's a very interesting subject. We're accredited by the Royal Society of Chemistry as well, so we deal with them quite a lot as well. So we're involved with the professional body, so it gives us a context to what we do with our degrees as well.
Can you tell us what is the difference between organic and inorganic chemistry?
So usually an organic chemist would use carbon in more or less most of the things that they do. So carbon is obviously a scaffold of life, so it comes through DNA, and everything that we do usually has carbon in it. And then they would use a number of other different elements as well, so hydrogen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, for example. And usually an inorganic chemist would focus on the whole of the periodic table. So I'm not just limiting ourselves to a few elements, you probably use the whole of the range of elements in there. So you have different blocks within the periodic table. And so the S block are metals, then you've got the P block, which are a mixture of non-metals and metals, and then the middle part of the periodic table, which is the D block. And then the two rows that are removed down to the bottom are the F block as well. So an inorganic chemist really has the ability to use any of those different elements on the periodic table.
Okay, thank you for that. Having said that, in your opinion, or maybe if you can gauge like what your students typically say to you, what would be the most challenging aspect of your subject, and what would be the most enjoyable aspect of chemistry as well?
Let's do the enjoyable bit first, because it's the labs are the best. Doing experiments in the lab and the sort of joy is probably a strong word, but I will say the joy of getting something correct in the lab and seeing if you get a beautiful NMR. So one of the characterization techniques is nuclear magnetic resonance. So if you get a beautiful NMR of something, which organic chemists use a lot, as do inorganic chemists, once you get one, you just makes you so happy. And then what I would do is usually try and throw a metal in there now. So if you think about a D block metal or an F block metal, something like that, you could throw them in and then start to do some measurements on them. And that's where it starts to get really, really interesting, and you get the photophysical properties or the output from a metal. And that's what's really, really interesting, I think. So yeah, being in the lab, doing experiments, seeing that what you're doing is either novel, so nobody else in the world could have potentially done that before. I think that's the best thing about the subject. Probably the thing that people find most difficult, I think, is maths, actually. So it's probably getting the basics towards physical chemistry and the amount of mathematics that you actually have to do. So we run support classes and things like that, and anywhere that you apply to should help you with that if you don't have a maths qualification. But yeah, I think it's the maths that's probably the most difficult part of it.
So what kind of skills or attributes do students who want to study chemistry need to succeed in it?
You need to be organised, so you need to know what you're turning up for as well. So being ready to come to a lecture and know that the topic that you're going to do, and have like a certain already sort of pre-knowledge of what's going to come up. So if you have any questions, you can ask those questions. You obviously have to be organised to be in the lab. So if you're going to do some form of experiment, you need to know exactly how much to weigh out. You need to know exactly what you need to do with that powder that you've weighed out. The temperature, say, that you have to heat something at. So yeah, I'd say being organised is the main thing, actually. It's just being ready to go, making sure that you can work safely when you're in the laboratory. And then the same in lectures, when you're ready to ask questions and ready to do the problems that are involved with your lectures.
So another thing students are concerned with is where they will end up after they've secured their degree, what are they going to do with it? So can you tell us a little bit about maybe student destinations and outcomes and career prospects?
Yeah, I mean we've had some really good success recently. I'm always astounded by what people are doing outside of the degrees and you know where that leads them to. So we've had students who've done the chemistry degree whilst also running their own like kind of science entertainment company outside of it, so doing children's parties and things like that. And then we've had students who sort of take a more academic route, you could say, but they finish the BSc degree with us and then they go on to do a PhD. So one of the first students that I met and you had as a project student has just finished his PhD now. So that's really nice to see people moving on and going on and to do different things. So there's more people that take the academic route, so going doing masters or PhD courses, or then with the analytical skills that you get, you can obviously move into the chemical industry. So whether that's the pharmaceutical analysis side, or whether it's designing molecules, again on the organic chemistry side, or then the skills that you get, the analytical skills, can take you into any field really. You can move into accountancy, for example. We had one student who did the chemistry degree alongside doing an accountancy qualification, and she now works for a really big accountancy company. So yeah, really, you can just go and do whatever you want, because the skills you get doing a chemistry degree allow you to be analytical and allow you to present data and communicate data in a concise manner where it's easy to understand. So yeah, really, you can go and do anything from a chemistry degree.
Daniel, this has been a great interview, and thank you for your insights as well and sharing your experiences with us.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
No problem. Thank you.